Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multimillionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. Exciting announcement for all of my listeners. I've officially opened my exclusive group, the ProjectME Passive Income Posse, to the public. This group is by application only, so we can keep the group high vibe and spend our time, energy, and expertise only helping those of you who truly want massive success and impact. You get live weekly trainings from me, special guest coaches, and direct access to me and my business partner for all of your questions. To learn more and apply, go to projectmewithtiffany.com, click on Work With Me, and select ProjectME Posse. And of course, any questions, feel free to DM me at ProjectME with Tiffany. Welcome to the podcast and posse, ProjectME with Tiffany Carter. I'm your host, Tiffany, and I'm going to give you 4 tips today to show up on video when you're terrified of judgment and afraid of looking stupid. Now, a lot of people make an assumption about me because I come across on video confident. I do goofy things. Just, look at my post and my Instagram today, right? That wasn't always the case. Here's the funny thing is I'm a professionally trained news broadcaster. So I started my career on TV at a very young age. NBC hired me at 20 years old before I even graduated college. Like I had to fly back for my graduation. And then I anchored the CBS morning show in Washington. It was 4 hours every morning of live TV. And I did a lot of segments for CNN, etc. So you would think, well, you're professionally trained, so of course you're going to be good at it. I'm not professionally trained, Tiffany. Yeah. So I don't know how many of you guys remember the show. Well, I think it's still out there, like bloopers and practical jokes where they show TV bloopers. Some of my most embarrassing moments on TV have been viewed on that show many times in the years, like I would say 2002 for sure, 2010 along that lines. But I've seen them recirculate a few times. Yeah, a lot of embarrassing videos. When you're on live TV, there's nothing that you can do. You cannot go back and re-record. There's a lot of pressure. I had, zero self-worth anyway. I knew I was a pretty good communicator and I was confident in terms of my training. Like I knew how to come across polished and that kind of thing. But I wasn't confident in myself. And that was very evident. Like when I look back on old videos of me, it's horrifying. Now, when you see me sitting at a news desk, anchoring, right? When people are doing that, and most people who are hosting big shows, like American Idol or anything like that, they are reading off a teleprompter, and you have already most of the time read through that script yourself a few times. And if you have a good writer or you go in yourself, you can tweak it so you're using words that you would use. Well, not swear words like I would use, but you know what I mean. So you can come across more confident and there's a sense of ease because you're not worried about what you're going to say. It's already in the script. It's in the damn teleprompter. You just have to have training to make sure it doesn't look like you're reading off something, because that's the worst. And that's a big mistake I see a lot of you guys doing, is that you start writing out a ton of notes even scripting your stuff because you're so afraid you're going to forget what to say. You're going to lose your words. You've already tried, recording and re-recording several times and you keep botching it. So then you write it all out and then now you're reading and it's obvious you're reading, which loses credibility. It's boring and it's not going to convert or help you in any way because it's just not engaging. It's really super awkward. I'm just surprised how many people actually post it and don't see it. Maybe it's like, well, I might as well post it. This is the best it's going to get. It's better to come across as being you, authentic, with your eyes focused, on the camera, on the other person, as though someone's talking to you on FaceTime. And this is, when we're referring to doing stuff on social media platforms like you're posting stuff in Instagram or Facebook, right? The goal there is that you look like you're having a FaceTime conversation with someone. That's how you build intimacy. That is how the person can feel like they're actually having a real conversation with you, but you can't have your eyes like darting all over the place, reading something. You end up looking kind of shady and shifty when you do that. So that's really most important. I would rather you guys make mistakes, stumble over your words, be a little awkward and messy and looking right at the camera and being yourself than for you to be reading off a script and being stiff and weird. People would rather have that. Now, I wish someone told me that when I was a news broadcaster because it's a very cutthroat industry. I'm not sure if it's as nasty now. I'm sure it is. Quite frankly, I have a lot of friends who work behind the scenes as producers. I have some friends that are talent. It depends really on where you work. But where I worked, it was mostly nasty, which is it is what it is. And I didn't have someone telling me, hey, like it's better to be yourself. It's okay. I mean, obviously you can't swear because there'd be a huge fine, but it would be better if you are a little messy or, you stumbled over a word than for you to be so rigid and tight and afraid of making a mistake or looking stupid. I wish someone told me that because it would have taken so much pressure off me. And that is the main reason why so many of you are afraid to show up on video. It's terrified of what will my college friends think? What will those, those two girls from high school say about me? What will my colleagues think? For those of you who are currently in a full-time job and you're, working a side hustle, you're planning to transition. And it's like, what are they going to think? I thought that too. Remember, I had a full-on successful corporate career in pharmaceutical sales and I was in management. I had people who reported to me. I was a national trainer. I was flying all over the place. I had all my clients were, physicians and surgeons, the top in the world in that specific specialty. So I had, and most people in like upper management, like fun fact, in that pharmaceutical medical world are like old white men who are not very keen, so to speak, on social media. They more so, most of them see that stuff as being like shit their grandchildren do or their kids do, and it's like silly stuff and it's not real. Well, they can laugh while I'm cashing in now, right? So I was afraid when I, started my side hustle, which by the way, fun fact, was started during our last recession. We're technically not in a recession right now because this is a temporary situation. Not that I'm a financial analyst or anything, but like our big recession, like with all the crazy mortgage loans going on that happened in 2008. Yeah, I started my side hustle during that recession when my townhouse was upside down, meaning I owed more on it than it was worth. And so my mortgage payments I was making was like throwing cash out the window. But I had a place to live. And I went full time in 2010 with my first business, which I still have today, which you guys know who are longtime listeners, which is doing branding and digital marketing for medical, pharmaceutical, and medical healthcare providers and supplement companies. So I help them get more customers, clients, patients using the internet. And I was able to quit my full-time career during our lowest point in our economy. In fact, I ended up making the most I ever made during this recession. I just wanted to throw this in here, just the times that we're in, whether you guys are my diehards, which I love you guys, who listen to every episode and you wait for them to come out, or you're listening to this and it's months after this whole thing has happened. It's still a good reminder, because what do I teach you guys? Our egos, our fear-based center in our brain only responds to facts and evidence. That's the only thing that'll shut it up. It's not going to shut up. Did I say shut it up? I have no idea what I said. And guess what? It doesn't matter, does it? There's a good example of what we're talking about today. I don't even know what I was saying. What was I saying? I have no freaking idea. Anyway, I'm going to move on. I don't know if my point will come back around, but I think this is happening right now where I just lost my train of thought. One, I've literally had only 10 sips of coffee, which I might as well be in a coma still. And two, I am kind of a little not on my game this morning, and that's okay. And I'm showing up anyway, and I'm recording this episode for you guys anyway. There's a small part of me just now that wanted to stop recording and re-record since we're not that far into the episode, because I was like, God, I just lost my train of thought. I've already gone off on a tangent, right? I should stop and re-record. But that's defeating the purpose of what I'm teaching you today, right? I can stop and re-record. You can stop and re-record a video, but I want you guys to see it doesn't matter. So what? I lost my train of thought. If the point is that important, I'll remember it. If you guys are that curious what point I was trying to make, you can always DM me at ProjectME with Tiffany. And there's that, right? What's important is that you show up and you do it. I don't have a bunch of excess time in my schedule. So if I kept re-recording videos, re-recording podcasts over and over again, and I didn't have in my mind, I'm just doing a live to tape format. So this is an extra bonus tip, and then I'll get into the 4 tips. This is an extra bonus tip for you. Get into the mindset when you record something that you're being interviewed for, Fox News, or you're being interviewed for like a live radio show, okay, where it's not pre-recorded or pre-taped. A lot of shows you watch on TV are pre-taped, like any of those, like The Tonight Show, America's Got Talent, all that shit is pre-taped. That's why they're able to do a delay if someone swears or, someone like falls on stage or something like that. I'm saying if you're being interviewed, live on a radio station or like your local, Fox News or NBC or something like that, get into the mindset that someone is interviewing you live, or I'm interviewing you on my podcast. And you can't just go, oh, hey, wait, can we stop and re-record? When you're in that mindset, you're like, God, that puts some pressure on me. But when you're in that mindset, you'll go, well, I got to keep going. Even if I blunder or I lose my train of thought, like I've got to keep going. Now, if you really bite the dust on it, yes, of course you can re-record. But I don't have the time, nor do I think you do, to re-record 18 times to get one video out. Of all that time you just spent to get one, 5-minute video out, you could have recorded 6 videos. We don't have time to do this. We've just got to put ourselves out there and go for it. But here are the 4 original tips that I want to give you in order to show up on video when you're terrified of all these people judging you. You're afraid of looking stupid. People are going to go, who does she think she is? Oh, I know what my point was before, where I was afraid to show up because I was afraid of what all my clients, and this is for ProjectME with Tiffany Carter. This includes my podcast, all the stuff you guys see me do on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. I was afraid that my clients, who I've had longtime clients and giant corporate clients from my other business, my 7-figure business, TLC Enterprises, I was afraid they'd see this ProjectME with Tiffany Carter stuff where I'm talking about heartfelt stuff. Yes, I'm talking about business, marketing, sales strategy, but I also do deep mindset, self-worth stuff. I share a lot of personal stories. I thought I would lose clients. I started convincing myself I'll lose clients. I'd lose credibility. They wouldn't like that. They would think that I am focusing on this brand and not them. And then I used my own coaching on myself. Tiffany, is that absolutely true with 100% certainty for a fact? Do I know that to be a fact? I absolutely don't. I was just afraid to truly show up as me, not corporate business Tiffany, because there's still a mask there. And I don't mean a mask like I'm being fake, but you guys know what I mean. There's still a mask there. You know, for those of you who are, I have a lot of medical professionals listen to the show. You guys know that there's a medical professional mask. Well, there's a literal mask too, but a mask that you wear. If you're a teacher, there's a mask. You're a physical, fitness trainer, there's a mask. You're an accountant, a lawyer, there's a mask. It's your professional mask to where that's normal. It's appropriate. No one wants to hear that you have your period. You know what I'm saying? No one wants to hear about how you escaped an abusive relationship and ended up homeless for a year in a car. No one really wants to hear that when you're doing their taxes, when you're doing contracts for them, or when you're seeing if they have the coronavirus. You know what I mean? So we have to use discernment and discretion when we're wearing those professional masks. So because this brand's all about I'm all out there. This is 100% all me, raw, vulnerable, all the things. So I was like, oh my God, these people who are, these other clients, they're going to see the Tiffany behind the professional mask. And I was afraid they wouldn't like it so much that they would not want to work with me anymore, that they would talk behind my back, they'd make fun of me. But first of all, that's not a fact. I don't know that to be true. Number 2, it's none of my business what other people think of me. So remember that. It's none of our business. We fucking have judgment and thoughts about people all day long. I just judged the shit out of people when I was at Trader Joe's yesterday, because I was the only person not wearing a mask and gloves on top of it. And I found it really irritating because the fucking greeter, who is only letting us in only a couple people at a time, and they wipe down your cart and all the stuff here in LA, he didn't have a mask and he didn't have gloves on, and he was smiling and happy and pleasant. And it was just I found it irritating, and I was judging people. We all do judge people. We judge ourselves. We judge other people. So it's really none of our business what other people think of us. I bet you they were judging the shit out of me because I had no gloves. I had no mask. And that doesn't mean I'm not being conscious of staying 6 feet away. I am. But they were probably pissed off at me for not having it. So that's why we end up not serving who we're meant to serve and serving ourselves, because we're so worried about what other people will think. So let me ask you this. What's more important to you? Your mission, your passion, who it is you want to help, the women, the men, the people who are, having problems and struggles and low, maybe low self-worth, or they're not healthy, or they're in a toxic relationship. They've suffered a lot of abuse and they have no self-esteem. I mean, what's more important to you? You getting over your damn self and showing up anyway in order to be of service to those people, or you staying small and quiet and contained because you're afraid of what potentially these other people, family, friends, assholes, strangers, are going to think of you? You must then not really want to help people bad enough. These are the conversations I have with my private clients and with myself when I start getting weird about stuff. Because I hate photo shoots. I hate having my picture taken. Like, I don't mind it when I'm at an event and you guys want to get like pictures with me. I love that because there's a beautiful energy exchange. But like those awkward like branding photo shoots, I mean, I make sure I hire people who are so high vibe and chill and fun around me because I need to feed off their energy because I find it awkward as fuck. I hate it. I'd rather have a video camera follow me around all day. But the first branding photographer I worked with, love her. She said to me, you need to focus on, instead of how awkward you are, you feel like you look fat or whatever, I want you to focus on who your brand is designed to help, and that this is one thing that is necessary to get your brand and your teachings and your word and your service out there, and focus on that instead. And you're showing up for those women. This is what the brand photographer said to me. Which is, I knew I wanted to hire her, and I had to actually work pretty hard to get her because she's really well known. But also God made sure that I worked with her because she was someone who really got it and could say that to me. Also, she also told me she used to be like 190 pounds heavier. I mean, something extreme. Because I was at my heaviest I'd ever been in my life from going through a health condition I've talked about on other episodes. So I mean, it was supposed to be her for me to hear that. And that doesn't mean I wasn't still uncomfortable and sweating my ass off and feeling awkward. But I did the damn thing anyway, and my energy was different. And thank God, because at least we got quite a few great photos from that shoot. Like my podcast cover is from there. But if it wasn't for her saying that to me and talking me off the ledge about feeling like a blimp and fat and all the stuff, first of all, I would have wasted a ton of money because the pictures wouldn't look good because we can't fake energy. And I wouldn't have heard that lesson I needed to hear that I can share with all of you, and I can remind myself over and over again. So you need to ask yourself that question. Like, are the people that you're wanting to help and serve and build your business around helping them and what you're helping them for and what you're helping them achieve, are they worth you showing up and being uncomfortable and terrified anyway? Are they? If it's not worth it to you, then you have not found your purpose or your passion. Then it's not your purpose or your passion. It's just not. You've got to just do it anyway. So here are 4 key things that I did to get myself to just do the damn thing. First thing is record a video and ask a friend to view it and give their genuine feedback. Like a trusted friend, a friend who's not going to be like abusive or mean, but is also going to be real with you. Or ask, if you're one of my clients or you book like a 90-minute intensive with me, you can just book a 90-minute intensive with me without applying. So you can go in and get into my calendar and book that, and we can solely focus on you getting your video game down. And I will tell you, that's good. This could be better. This is why. I would never approve any video for my posse, for my clients, if I didn't make sure that you're looking in a good light, you're getting your message across. And because my people know that, and the people in my membership posse know that, then they feel comfortable putting it out there, because we're so hard on ourselves. So we're like, oh my God, I sound horrible, all these things. But if you have someone who wouldn't let you embarrass yourself, whether it's a friend, whether it's me, a mentor, someone who's not going to just tell you what you want to hear, like your mom, send it to them first. And you're like, well, I might not like it, but I trust this person. And this also goes for not just videos. This goes for a podcast, for a post, whatever it is. All right. The second key thing I did is I still do this today. I write out keynotes in large print, of course, with a purple Sharpie, on a piece of paper so I can clearly glance at my notes while I'm doing a video versus trying to remember everything I want to say. So I'm talking like an outline. This is what I do when I speak on stage too. So just keywords that will trigger my mind. Probably part of why, I went off on multiple tangents today is I didn't have any notes. I didn't even have time to do that. But for example, I would write down these four, the four key things. Well, that's not true. I'm actually looking at my show notes for this episode. So the four key things I'm teaching you now, those are written out, right? But I'm not sitting here going, I write out keynotes in large print. Da 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 da. I'm not like reading. That'd be boring as hell. I have a keywords in there going, okay, yeah, I write out keynotes in large print, and that triggers my mind to sharing that point with you. So sometimes people only need a word, and sometimes you just need like a sentence there that you can see it really big and you can glance down. So don't be afraid to glance down at your notes. And if you're teaching something more technical, or you're giving a recipe, or you're giving certain exercises or something like that, it is okay to even say like, okay, let me look at my notes because I don't want to miss anything here. That builds trust with people and credibility with people, because it's like, okay, you've really thought this out. You have notes, you're referring to them. That's okay. But to keep glancing down or keep looking somewhere and not telling the people that you're looking at your notes, it makes you look shifty and shady, and it's awkward and weird. All right. The third tip is I make sure to record when my energy's at the high point of the day, like after a morning workout. This way I feel more confident on video and I'm more mentally sharp. Now, I did not do that today. As we know from what I said earlier, I've definitely not had enough coffee, but this is the only time I could record. I truly almost forgot that I had to record this episode. So it's like sometimes all goes out the window, and I'm definitely not at my sharpest or highest point per se. I've not worked out yet or anything like that. However, because I have practiced and has recorded 190 podcast episodes. I've done tons and tons of videos for you guys. There are over 80 live trainings inside my ProjectME Posse membership group for all new members and current members to go back and watch over and over again on a whole slew of topics. Because I've practiced it and done it enough, I can get away with once in a while not having notes, not being at my highest point of energy. And it's okay because, the whole line of practice makes perfect. I mean, it really doesn't make perfect. Practice makes perfectly imperfect. But I've done a lot of practice, so I'm comfortable enough and confident enough, and I also give zero fucks enough that if I go off on a tangent, if I mix up my words, anything like that, as long as what I'm teaching you guys is helpful and it's what you need to learn, which it is, it's what you need to hear. I make you laugh, I make you think. That's really all that matters, right? And before I go into the last tip, if you guys are loving this episode, take a screenshot, share it on social media, and tag me at ProjectME with Tiffany. I love to see the episodes that resonate with you guys. I would also love to see that if it really didn't matter to you that I wasn't so-called perfectly on my game for this episode, right? Did it really matter that much to you? Did you end up turning this off and going, I'm never listening to her again, or Tiffany doesn't even know what she's talking about, right? So screenshot it, tag me, love to see it, and then I'll reshare it in my stories, which PS is a really good thing for you to grow your Instagram, especially when you have other people with bigger accounts resharing your stuff and tagging you. Just saying. Okay. The last tip I want to give you for what I've done and still do to get myself just to do the damn thing when it comes to video and recording is I've allowed myself room for mistakes, weird facial expressions. Maybe I had like a hair that was like sideways in a video, but like I really liked what I said in the video. Unless it is for something for a media publication, maybe if it was for like I'm recording it for a course or something like that, I might re-record it, but honestly, I'm at the point where I might not. I mean, I had one of my most successful Instagram lives. I had a booger in my nose the entire time, and you could only see it when I turned my head. But I addressed the booger right in front of everyone. I was like, oh, that's fun. And it wasn't a small booger. It was like, oh my God, that's a big booger. And I was like, oh, that's fun. So I have a booger, but I had so many people on the live, and it was such a great live that what was I going to stop the live? No, it was live. I picked my damn nose. I was like, should we leave the booger there? Should I pick it? I made it part of the thing, and some people were like, leave it. I was like, put it in comments below. Like, I made it a thing. It's like, we all have boogers. Like, what are you going to do? And it is what it is. So I allow myself room for all these things. This makes you more relatable to people. This is why I also think that particular live did so well. It gave people permission to show up just as they are. It reminded people, I'm just like you. I'm not perfect by any means. I have boogers. And it's kind of like that. I don't know how many of you have ever read like that rag mag, Us Weekly. They used to have, I don't know if they still do, like in the back page, it was like stars, they're just like us, or celebrities, they're just like us. And they would show like Britney Spears pumping gas, eating Cheetos. They would show different things like that. And I always loved that page because it was like, it reminds you like these people are just like us. They poo just like us. They have boogers just like us. They're a hot mess just like us. They have zits just like us. Just a lot of people don't show that part of themselves, which is too bad, because when you show that part of yourself, it builds trust and connection and intimacy much faster with people because you become more real and relatable to them. So you being too curated and too perfect, even if your brand is around fashion and all these things, yeah, I guess in some circumstances, if your brand is all around a certain look and that kind of stuff, you do have an image to uphold. I'm thinking of like Kim Kardashian here, but think about it. She also still will show, not a ton of the time, but about 10% of the time, she'll show up with, no makeup. She'll show her psoriasis that she has. So she'll still show that other side of her, that on, the side that's not glamorous, even though her brand is all about glamour and 90% of the time she shows up like that. She does show the other 10%. She is not always, perfectly glammed. So I know a lot of you, when I do episodes on things like this, you're like, well, you don't understand, I'm a stylist, or I am a makeup artist, and I can't show up without my makeup perfectly done or without like a killer outfit. It's like, well, why not? No, you don't want to show up like that all the time because that's not what your brand is around. But why not 10% of the time you be the makeup artist who lets her skin breathe and show people what you do to rejuvenate and treat your skin and help make your skin texture better when you're not wearing makeup? Why not be the stylist who shows I am not always perfectly styled? Like, I'm just like you. I have my favorite pair of sweatpants from college with holes in them that I wear, loafing around my house on a Sunday. Why not show that? That's going to build more trust with people. And I would bet those posts, those videos would actually get some of your highest engagement yet. I just want you guys to think about that. Every brand, every niche, each one of you are incredibly unique. So there is no one size fits all. I try to give tips that work for everyone. And that's what I did here today. So I hope you loved the episode. Take a screenshot, tag me at ProjectME with Tiffany. Let me know that you loved it, that it helped you. And if you want to master your video presence and at least get to a point where you feel confident showing up and doing it, have the accountability, have someone who's going to show you how and help you refine it in real time, If you are, if you're not wanting to apply to work with me for 2 months, or that just seems like too much for you right now, you can always book a 90-minute private session with me that's totally customized. It is customized to what it is you specifically want help with, and we nail that shit. So I just want to put that out there so you're not sitting here. If you know you're not going to do it, or you tell yourself you're going to do it and then you end up finding excuses and stories and you end up not doing it, then it would be really smart for you to hire somebody to keep you accountable and make you show up and do it, because that's half of it. Now you have someone who's helping you rip off the Band-Aid right then and there, and now you can go off and keep doing it, because you'll realize it's really not as bad as you made it out to be. And what's funny is you'll also realize the stories that you made up about what you thought, your bitchy Aunt Susie or Tanya from high school, was going to say about you, or your overly critical mother or your boss or whatever is going to say and judge you and think and all this stuff about, you showing up. What's funny is it's never nearly what you think it's going to be. Truly. I'm not saying there aren't people who probably say shit, but so what? They're going to say shit about you anyway, about something else you do. If they're saying shit and they're being critical about your new business you're starting, that you're starting a network marketing company, or you're, going into network marketing, that you are doing a blog, that you're vlogging now, you have a TikTok channel, whatever it is, if they're going to critique and judge you about that, trust me when I say this, they were already critiquing and judging you before. This is just another thing. So no matter what you do, those same people would have done it, because that's who those people are. That's why it doesn't matter to me, but I also understand how scary it is to rip off the Band-Aid, which I'm hoping I helped you guys with today. All right, can't wait to see you guys more on video, and wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.